Café Confrontation. Barron Trump faces a fiery outburst, and his calm response transforms perspectives. It was one of those overcast afternoons in Boston, a day when the sky was painted in muted grays and the gentle drizzle lent a reflective mood to the city's historic streets. The soft hum of conversation and the distant rumble of traffic merged with the scent of fresh coffee and baked pastries, setting an unexpected stage for an encounter that would forever alter the course of one woman's life. At a quaint, slightly worn cafe called Bean Brew, tucked away on a quiet side street in the heart of the city, Marissa worked her usual long shift. For years, she had served countless customers with a warm smile and a professional air, even when the weight of overdue bills, looming rent deadlines, and the daily grind threatened to overwhelm her. Marissa's life had always been a careful balancing act between the relentless demands of work and the small, hidden hopes that kept her going. Yet, on that particular afternoon, nothing could have prepared her for what was about to unfold. The cafe was alive with a subdued energy, a place where old wooden tables bore the scars of countless stories and faded photographs on the walls whispered memories of simpler times. The background was filled with the gentle clinking of porcelain cups and the soft strains of an acoustic melody playing from a corner speaker. Outside, a light rain had begun to blur the cityscape beyond the large, steamed-up windows. It was in this intimate setting that Marissa was about to experience a moment of profound human connection. Marissa had been on her feet for hours, meticulously wiping down tables and restocking supplies as she moved through her routine with practiced efficiency. The day had been particularly long, and every minute seemed to stretch endlessly. The relentless tick of the wall clock, the murmur of low conversations, and the occasional hiss of the espresso machine had all faded into a monotonous backdrop, a constant reminder of the struggle to keep up with life's demands. Just as she was finishing up the last table near the window, where the world outside appeared as a watercolor painting of rain and reflections, the sound of the doorbell chimed sharply. The noise startled her, pulling her attention from her weariness. She glanced up, expecting another regular, but instead, her eyes met those of a tall, lean man entering the cafe. His appearance was at once unassuming and striking. He was dressed in a simple, well-fitted shirt, slacks that seemed tailored to perfection, and a pair of polished shoes that reflected a subtle elegance. There was an aura of calm confidence about him, a quiet magnetism that instantly disrupted the familiar rhythm of the day. For a fleeting moment, Marissa's breath caught in her throat. The man's face was unmistakable, a face she had seen countless times in the media, on television screens, and in glossy magazine spreads. It was Barron Trump, a name associated with wealth, privilege, and high expectations. Yet here he was, sitting in plain sight in a modest cafe, far removed from the gilded environments he was typically associated with. Gathering herself, Marissa forced a professional smile as she approached the table in the far corner, where Barron had chosen to settle. "Good afternoon," she said softly, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. "May I start you off with something to drink?" Barron looked up slowly, his eyes warm yet reserved. In a voice that carried unexpected sincerity, he replied, "I'd like a cappuccino, please, and perhaps one of your croissants." His tone was unhurried, gentle, a stark contrast to the image of the high-profile figure Marissa had come to expect. With swift precision, she noted his order, her mind buzzing with conflicting thoughts. Here, in the quiet hum of Bean Brew, was a man whose name dominated headlines, now reduced to simply another customer. And yet, the tenderness in his gaze hinted at a depth that transcended public perceptions. Marissa returned to her duties, but she found herself glancing repeatedly towards the quiet corner. Barron sat with an air of introspection, occasionally sipping water from a small glass and gazing out the window at the rain-slicked street beyond. His posture was relaxed, yet there was a palpable aura of contemplation about him. Each stolen moment of his calm demeanor resonated with Marissa, stirring feelings of hope and a renewed sense of worth, feelings that had long been buried under the weight of routine hardships. Time passed slowly. Every clink of a coffee cup, every murmur of conversation, seemed to heighten her anticipation. Eventually, with the cappuccino and croissant prepared to perfection, Marissa balanced the tray and approached his table once more. "Here you go," she said gently as she placed the cup and pastry before him, her touch tender and respectful. Barron's eyes met hers for a moment, a fleeting connection that spoke of gratitude and shared humanity. "Thank you," he murmured, and his voice, soft and sincere, sent a quiet warmth cascading through her. As the minutes slipped by, and after he had finished his light meal, something unexpected occurred. Barron reached into his pocket with deliberate care. With a small pen he retrieved, he scribbled something on the receipt of his order. Marissa, now quietly curious, observed as he folded the paper with precision and tucked it neatly beneath his empty coffee cup. The act was subtle yet laden with meaning, as though he was safeguarding a private message meant to be discovered later. Her thoughts whirled. What could the note contain? Was it a personal reminder, a message of hope, or of something more profound? Unable to suppress her curiosity any longer, during a brief lull in the cafe's activity, Marissa sought refuge in a quiet corner behind the counter. With trembling fingers, she carefully unfolded the note. The handwriting was neat, deliberate, and every word seemed to resonate with the depth of someone who truly understood hardship. The note read, "Your kindness and hard work do not go unnoticed. My family has been where you are. Stay strong, brighter days are coming." Beneath the heartfelt message, an astonishing tip, a 4-digit amount, was printed on the receipt, its generosity far exceeding anything Marissa had ever received. In that instant, a rush of emotions overwhelmed her. Tears welled up, blurring her vision as she clutched the note. It wasn't merely the financial windfall that moved her. It was the profound acknowledgement of her struggles, a reminder that her relentless efforts were seen and valued. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Marissa felt truly recognized, her worth affirmed in the midst of an otherwise ordinary day. The impact of that note was immediate and far-reaching. Word of the generous tip and the touching message began to spread throughout the cafe. Whispers turned into excited murmurs, and soon patrons and coworkers alike started discussing the miraculous act of kindness that had unfolded right before their eyes. Social media quickly picked up the story, and within hours, headlines began to appear. Barron Trump leaves heartwarming note for waitress at Bean Brew, and a simple act of kindness sparks national conversation. The narrative, rich with themes of empathy, recognition, and the transformative power of a single gesture, began to ripple outwards, capturing the attention of the local community and beyond. As the days slowly transitioned into evening, the once familiar atmosphere of the cafe transformed. Regular customers, now aware of the incident, approached Marissa with gentle smiles and words of encouragement. Even her manager, who had previously offered only a perfunctory nod, now looked at her with genuine admiration, remarking, "You're a local hero, Marissa." Yet, amid the praise and attention, a sense of vulnerability crept over her. It was as if the quiet details of her life, her struggles and sacrifices, were now, in the public domain, a bittersweet mix of pride and exposure. That night, as Marissa closed the cafe, she lingered at the counter, the note clutched tightly in her hands. Outside, the soft glow of streetlights and the rhythmic patter of rain against the pavement provided a gentle backdrop to her introspection. With a deep, steadying breath, she allowed the words of the note to sink in. "Stay strong, brighter days are coming." In that solitary moment, beneath the quiet watch of the night, Marissa felt a spark of hope ignite within her. She realized that her everyday struggles were not invisible, that a single act of kindness could indeed transform a life. In the days that followed, Marissa's story became a beacon of inspiration. Local news outlets picked up the tale, and soon interviews and community discussions buzzed with talk of empathy, resilience, and the power of small gestures to affect real change. On a popular morning show, Marissa recounted her experience with a voice that trembled between emotion and determination. It wasn't about the tip. It was about knowing that someone saw me, recognized my struggles, and cared enough to remind me that I matter. Her words resonated deeply with viewers, sparking conversations about the importance of treating everyone with dignity, no matter their circumstances. As weeks turned into months, the humble cafe Bean Brew transformed from just another local coffee spot into a symbol of hope and connection. Regular patrons began leaving their own notes of encouragement on napkins, and the atmosphere grew warmer, filled with genuine smiles and heartfelt exchanges. Marissa, once overwhelmed by the anonymity of her labor, now carried the note like a treasured keepsake, a reminder that even in the most unassuming moments, kindness could light up the darkest of days. Yet, despite the overwhelming positivity, Marissa struggled with the sudden fame that accompanied her story. Social media exploded with comments, and headlines praised the unexpected act of compassion. Interviews, blog posts, and community events celebrated her journey. But deep inside, Marissa felt a twinge of insecurity. She was just a waitress, an ordinary person who worked tirelessly every day. The idea that her private hardships had become a public inspiration was both humbling and daunting. One rainy morning, as Marissa prepared for another shift, her phone buzzed incessantly with messages, texts, tweets, and notifications from people all over expressing gratitude, curiosity, and admiration for her story. Amid the flurry of digital applause, one message in particular caught her eye, a simple phrase, "Stay strong, brighter days are coming." In that moment, Marissa realized that the note had transcended its initial context, becoming a universal message of hope and resilience. Later that day, as she sat down for a quiet moment behind the counter, Marissa reflected on the events that had so unexpectedly transformed her life. The note was no longer just a piece of paper left on a table. It was a symbol of recognition, an affirmation that even the smallest acts of kindness could ripple outwards and touch countless lives. With renewed determination, she resolved that no matter how many challenges she faced, she would hold on to that hope and let it guide her through the toughest days. That night, as she locked up the cafe, the soft pitter-patter of rain and the gentle glow of streetlights accompanied her homeward walk. Every step felt lighter, every breath imbued with a new sense of purpose. The note remained tucked safely in her apron pocket, a constant reminder that even in the midst of hardship, there was beauty in kindness and strength in being seen. In time, Marissa's experience at Bean Brew became more than just a viral story. It ignited a broader conversation about empathy, the dignity of everyday workers, and the transformative power of simple gestures. Community forums, local news segments, and social media discussions all revolve around the idea that no one should feel invisible and that every act of genuine compassion could be the spark for a better tomorrow. A sip of hope, the note that changed everything, served as a powerful testament to the fact that while life often deals harsh blows, it also offers moments of unexpected grace. Marissa's journey from anonymity to recognition became an enduring symbol for those who struggle in silence, a reminder that every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change the world. And so, in the soft twilight of a rainy Boston evening, amid the aroma of espresso and the quiet murmur of heartfelt conversations, a single note transformed a humble waitress's life, reminding her, and all who heard her story, that in the tapestry of everyday existence, even the smallest thread of kindness can weave a pattern of hope, resilience, and undeniable human connection.